Fantastic. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this live stream. Increase the profit in your practice. It is easier than you think, and Susie and I are going to show you how. So I'm Liz Hancock. I'm the Wealthy Entrepreneur Coach, and I've collaborated with the amazing Susie Miller, who is also with me. I know if you're watching this from my page, you can't see her, but hopefully a lot of you are on Expertise TV and can. So hi Susie, how are you today?
Great, I'm really looking forward to hearing your wisdom and what you're going to share with us all today.
Thank you. It's so much fun doing these. And apologies if you experienced a few technical issues at the start, we apologise for that, but we're on track now, and I'm very excited to be so. So how can you increase the profit in your practice? The very logical thing to think would be, well, I need to increase sales, and therefore I need to get more clients. And I think a lot of the time we see people going out trying so hard to get clients, they almost forget about the ones they've already got. So that's a big theme that we're going to focus on today. But the other way is, well, I need to put my prices up. And there's a lot of resistance to putting prices up. And also there's so much to it in terms of increasing prices. That's the subject for another webinar. So if you've got any questions on that, please do fire them through. In a nutshell, people pay for quality. They're going to pay more for quality. If you went to Primark and you were asked to spend 30 quid on a top, or say 50, you wouldn't want to, because it's like, well, it's Primark and it's, that doesn't add up. But you go to M&S and you naturally assume that a top's going to cost you minimum 30 quid upwards, because you're paying for quality. So think about that analogy when you're thinking about your pricing. If you're too low, they're going to assume that you're not that good at what you do. If you're high price, they're going to assume that you're absolutely amazing. That's the way our mind works. Mine doesn't work quite like that, because I'm so sort of into this whole consumer behavior and psychology of sales and so on. But that's what generally most people think. So we've got to get our heads around that and think about how we behave as buyers. And very often our clients do the same thing. Just turn off that little noise I heard there. So yeah, increasing sales, increasing clients, and increasing rates. I want you to just put that to one side at the moment. And Susie, in your experience with the people that you work for, is that the kind of like the thought process that most people think, I've got to get more leads, I've got to get more clients?
Yes, yeah, there's a focus on, we're getting a little bit of feedback. There's a huge focus on getting more leads and a lot of energy and time put into that. However, as you say, it's hard to remember sometimes that you've got your existing clients you really need to look after and nurture. And I've certainly become more conscious of that the last year. And it's a difficult one, because you think, well, they're already there, they're already paying, and I haven't got that much time to give more time and add value where you're not actually getting anything extra for it is quite a big step. But I do highly recommend it, because although it does use up a lot of time and it is a lot of your own personal investment, if you look after your clients well, the clients that appreciate that will stay, and it's a much healthier and more enjoyable client relationship to have.
Absolutely, that's a really good point. So just client retention generally, like you were saying, so the more you deliver and the better service you provide, the longer they're going to stay with you, and therefore you're not having to fill the gap that they're leaving open with a new client. And let's not forget as well, getting new clients, actually it takes a lot of time and effort and energy, but it can cost a lot of money. Especially if you're using traditional marketing methods, it's going to cost a lot of money. And if you look at the cost per new client, it can be pretty high. Whereas you think, okay, I've already got a client here, what can I do to make them stay longer? How can I amp up the service I give so they're going to stay longer? And also, remember what we said on our last webinar, they're going to refer people to me. So it's really important to have that referral process in place. If you need to know more about that, check out our last webinar, because it's all about referrals and how to do that. But yeah, customer service is so high. But we also want to make sure that we're not giving away our services for free. So it is a balance between absolutely exceptional customer service and delivery, but actually if we're going above and beyond what they paid for, yes, we want to deliver above and beyond, because we're all into delivering an amazing service, especially if someone's getting divorced and going through a hellish time. You know, you're going to get to know them. I know a lot of the people listening to this will deal with these people on a regular basis, but I'm sure that doesn't still make them, you know, emotionally vested in their clients' well-being and the outcomes for their clients. But if we're going too much over the top, then we're going to end up feeling resentful for that at some point. We're going to be overworked and underpaid. So how can we increase the value of each customer? Keeping them, retaining them, obviously is a really obvious one. But also, how can we bring in more income from that client, apart from keeping them for longer? So it is hard, like Susie, you said, you know, when you've got a client and they're already paying you, it's sometimes hard to think, okay, well, I can't ask them for more money. But actually, I want you to just flick that on its head and say, what else could I offer them that's going to help them even more? Which is a totally different way of thinking about it. What more can I sell them? Versus what can I possibly do to help them to a greater level? It just feels so much nicer, doesn't it? And that is what you're doing. It's not like, you know, a trick thing, or let's just pretend that's what we're doing, but really we just want their money. Genuinely, if you give them more, you're going to help them more. So really you need to kind of like hook into that way of thinking, rather than that, oh, I can't ask them for more money. So really, what can you do for those clients? Now, I'm going to give you a really simple example that I think will resonate with most people. I think most people have been in a McDonald's, even if you don't go there regularly. Personally, I love McDonald's, but I try not to go there too often because I know it's not very great food. But yeah, McDonald's, it used to be on the adverts, would you like to go large? So the first thing is they offer you, if you're ordering a meal, they're offering you an upsell of increasing that. So I'm buying my, I don't know, Big Mac meal. Would you like to go large? Yeah, why not? Actually, I don't, but a lot of people do. If they're asked, a lot of people say, yeah, I'd quite like a massive tub of vanilla milkshake or whatever. So, and for them to give that little bit more in terms, because don't forget the size of the burger doesn't change, but it's only the chips and the drink that does. They're making a lot of money for very little outgoing. So that upsell for them is invaluable. And I know they train their staff really well in offering that. Would you like to go large? Less so more recently, but I know there was a big push at one point to do that. And then that whole Super Size Me film came out, which I am actually going to mention again in a minute.
Amazing.
I haven't seen it, and now I've heard about this, and I'm like, and I can't lay claim to plucking this out and using this. I know someone else used this as an example, talking about the Super Size Me analogy, but I loved it. So the other thing is cross-selling. So you order your burger or your chicken nuggets, and they automatically say, and most of them do, would you like fries with that? Or would you like a meal deal? And you're like, well, yeah, I may as well, because I want a drink anyway, so I may as well just have chips too. And again, the cost of them doing that is very little, but we pay a lot more for it. Even though if we were to buy it separately, it would cost more. Doing it as a bundle is going to save us money. So even if we didn't want it, we end up bundling things up and upgrading. We're being cross-sold or cross-sold to, I should say. So think about, okay, how does that apply to me? How does McDonald's possibly apply to my accountancy business, my mediation business, and I want to say mentorship then, but mediation or whatever it is that you're selling? Just be a bit playful with it. Have a brainstorm. Sit down with some of your colleagues and say, okay, well, what could we do? What other things do we actually do or end up doing that we're not actually making, that isn't necessarily a part of our package, but we end up doing it a lot? Can you use that as a cross-sell or an upsell? If, you know, could you offer 3 services? So you have the standard service, and then you have a silver and a gold service. That's a, you know, I just use those examples. You could have, you know, lots of people use not just silver, gold and bronze, but, you know, platinum, all those other things, or VIP service. That's what I use in my programs. But what could you do? What could you cross-sell them into or upsell them into? So having the different levels would be an upsell. And actually, maybe if you could also offer them an audit on their finances or something, as well as what you're doing them as the core service, that would be a cross-sell. So what can you do? Susie, I feel like you just need to add to that.
Yeah, no, that's good. So, for example, it might be that a mediation firm would want to add value, because there's 2 levels, isn't there? There's the adding value to nurture your client without necessarily charging them anymore, but then there's also adding value that they'll be happy to pay for, because you're making it very convenient and easy. So I'm just thinking from a point of view of mediators, for example, one of the things that I'm always encouraging them to do is to add value to a MIAMS, a mediation information assessment meeting, by sending a link to a video showing an example of a MIAMS, of a mediation in progress, which might be role played by actors. So they use these things for their own training, but they very rarely share it with people who are actually thinking about using mediation. So it could be something very simple that already exists, and it's just a case of just offering that, which is going to really help build their relationship and trust with the client, but also and educate them. And I think a lot of what I call free added benefits should be about helping educate your clients as well, or giving them opportunities to help their clients. And then with the upsell, I guess it could be things like, for example, if someone's going through a divorce, they don't just need mediation, they need financial, they need other things. So they might be offering them a special discounted rate to, and I'll say this because I'm just working on it at the moment, a weekend retreat on the best way to divorce. Lovely. So for example, so there might be other things that other people are doing, doesn't cost them any money, that they can offer a special offer on, or in some cases even free, to their clients, and so that's going to obviously build their reputation. I just wanted to say as well, Andy Harrington has a lovely phrase. He doesn't use the word upsell, he talks about upserve.
Yes, yeah.
And I like that that phrase. I think that is much more accurate actually about what you're doing.
Yes, absolutely. Remember, sales is serving. And yeah, so it's not really upselling, it's upserving. Absolutely. That's a really easy one to catch in your brain and keep it there. And I loved what you said about like the retreats. Like, yeah, let's think about outside the box here. Like a mediator probably might need their clients going to obviously need the services of an accountant or a financial planner. So have a partnership with those people. If bigger firms might be able to bring their own in-house and offer that wider service in-house, but have a partnership with other firms. So you have a referral partnership, and it's either reciprocal or it's financially based. So you give them the client and you get a 30% kickback. You know, that's a great way to increase the income in your practice, and therefore the profit as well. But I love that idea of like a retreat. That's so what they will need. So why not do that? You know, there are so many of them out there. Think outside the box, think creatively. Like, what an amazing, and also not just the fact that you're offering that and that they might go and have a lovely time, just the fact that you're showing it to them, I think would really make them feel like they are so cared for, and that you really care about them, not just doing this job for them and getting the divorce sorted. So I think things like that are just so special. I think that's a wonderful example. Absolutely. And you know, maybe then you could have a relationship with that retreat provider and you go and do an hour's presentation at the retreat for those people that are at the retreat but haven't got the advice that they want, again, you're upserving those people, but you're bringing in the people. That's a really nice way of potentially getting more customers into your business, more clients.
Because that's how I can upserve the visitors to the retreat, is by asking mediators who have referred people in to come and be on a panel, do Q&A, or even to do a presentation themselves. So it's all these types of collaborations really help everybody. It's always a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's like such a nice way of getting new clients, like rather than, oh, what advert do I have to put out? What do I have to put out on Facebook, in the local press, all those things. Like, how much fun going to, like, meeting people in person. They're more likely to buy because they're getting to know you face to face, and hopefully there'll be someone there who is waving your flag and saying how great you are. So it's a really, really great opportunity. I'm so glad you brought that up, Susie. Thank you.
And could you give some examples of how because you do events, don't you, and you help businesses? So perhaps give some of the examples of how you do this.
Yes, I do. So I'll give you an example of a client that did it beautifully. So he was a wedding photographer, and he wasn't massively high end. He was fairly cheap, but the thought of him putting his prices up absolutely terrified him. And I did manage to get them up a bit. Most of my clients, when they come to me, I'm like, you need to double your prices. They went up, but I don't want to say he wasn't very good, but he was fairly placed for what he was charging, let's say that. I thought, how can we make this better? How can we bring more income into him and get him more bookings in a very easy way? So I got him to speak to a number of other wedding photographers who were a bit more high end, who would have calls from people who, as soon as they heard the price, would be like, oh, no, sorry, and just disappear. Because, you make a phone call, someone says 20 grand, you're going to be like, wow, that's what I was budgeting for my whole wedding. Thank you, but no thanks. You might not actually say that, but they would very quickly know who was a client and who wasn't by the conversations they'd have with them. They had a very, very slick process. They had staff and salespeople and so on. So we set up this partnership with another wedding photographer who was much more high end, and then they didn't want to be rude or anything, so they would gently let them down, but they started to say, well, I have got somebody else who I can recommend, and they passed them through to this guy. Didn't always automatically mean he got the business, but it meant a phone call, and he did get clients that way. So not only was he getting the clients, the guy with the nice fancy wedding photography business was getting a kickback, not lots, but he referred a lot of people on. So over time, that snowball effect is great for the individual running his photography business, getting more clients from not doing anything, and great for the other guy who you could say, well, he doesn't need the money because he's earning loads already, but who would say no to free money? He was getting a little bit more. So it worked beautifully for both of them.
But also, nobody likes to give a price to a client who then goes, that's too much, and then send them away. You always want to give them something, so at least you send them on to somewhere that's more suitable for their budget. They're going to still remember you really well. So I think that's fantastic. Such a good idea. You've just given me a brilliant idea that I hadn't had before. Thank you.
No, my pleasure. I love it when that happens. And I'm sure there are mediators and solicitors that are in different price brackets for different clients, because divorce it's across the board, isn't it? So who could you buddy up with? The however you want to describe them, the higher end or the lower end, and have that reciprocal relationship, because it does benefit both people. So yeah, that's a great one, and really, as you say, really kind and nice to the client as well. And equally, if someone's put off because your price is low, remembering what we said earlier on, we pay for quality, you could refer them upwards as well. So it absolutely works both ways, really. Okay, an example for what I do. I have I teach marketing and sales and so on, and online marketing as well, and online business. I coach coaches and those kinds of people in the online world, but I'm not a digital marketing expert. So I can tell you the strategy, but I can't say, right, you need to buy this technology and this clicks into here, and you know, that's not my strength. So I have great assistants who are in my Facebook group who help out, but if people want more than that, which most people need, and I recommend they get it, I've got a group of people that I can refer on to, and I've just formalised that a little bit more with one group of people. I need to do it with the other, as to a formal referral process. So if I refer someone on, I get money, and likewise they're doing the same for me. It's very easy to think, okay, I could refer on, but don't forget to get the reciprocal referral back, and make it so it works. Good. Okay. Let me just check the Facebook group in case we've got any questions. Oh, my husband's watching. Hello. That's slightly off-putting. I hope I'm doing all right, babe. And Michelle, hello, Michelle. Any comments or questions you guys have got, please do let me know. But we haven't got any here yet, have we, Susie? No, not.
Can I ask one?
Yes, please.
If were you saying it's to make it reciprocal? What's any kind of guidance on doing that? Because you know, how do you set those boundaries in a friendly, amicable, trusting way, but that actually those boundaries are really, really important. I was speaking to someone recently, and they said, I hope you don't mind with our collaboration if we do a little contract, because I've been burnt in the past. And I said, no problem. I'm really glad you suggested it, because I've had the same thing. So I think there's often a lack of confidence about going, this is the way it's going to work. And so what if you give us some guidance on that, that would be really useful.
Yeah, I think having a contract is really important, and that's why, you know, with one of these the people I was just talking about, with one set of them I have a contract in place, with the others I don't yet, so I said I need to formalise that. So I think it is slightly embarrassing, but actually it really positions you as professional and an expert. And you know, you could just say, oh, this is a bit awkward, but like you said, your friend said, would you mind if? And no one's going to say no, because if they did say no, I'd say, well, alarm bells. I'm not quite sure if I'd want to carry on working with them. So yeah, I think that's really, really important to have that agreement in place, even if it's just an email. I mean, I would really do it something that you all sign. You can get electronic signatures, so you don't have to post it or anything. eSign Genie is what I use. But absolutely, definitely. And in terms of what's fair, or what would be in that, it would be like, if you do refer to someone to me, then you pay me. And basically, in a nutshell, there might be, you know, you might come up with sort of qualifying, what's the word?
Terms,
thank you. Very simple word, couldn't come to it. But it might be that, you know, the client has to stay with you for a specific time before you give them the referral money. That's what I do in my business. I give people, if someone signs up to my mastermind from a referral, I give the person that referred them a month free coaching, but at the end of their coaching contract, in case that person doesn't stay with me. And that's never happened, luckily. So everyone's always got their referral money. But that also encourages the other people to stay with me for longer. Because I'm like, well, carry on, because don't forget you've got that free month, and it's helpful to get them engaged for longer. So really, it's about what feels right for you, what feels fair, what are you going to be happy with, and you don't want to be sitting there thinking, hang on a minute, I've given 50% of this client away and I'm actually making a loss on what it's costing me to serve this client. So you have to make sure it works. So, you know, 50% might be right. It's good for me if I have someone that refers someone to me for a group program, that might work because it's group, so my time is leveraged. I'm delivering it anyway. But if it was one-to-one and I was giving away 50%, not quite sure I'd be happy with that, because that means I'm getting much less money for much more of my time. So you've got to do that sort of calculation really, and find out what feels right, and go with your guts as much as anything. Obviously work it out properly, but go with your guts, because if you've got an inkling that it's not quite fair, you need to sort that out at the beginning, because else you'll never feel good about it, and it probably won't work anyway if that's the case. Does that make sense, Susie?
Yes, and I have been trialing using an affiliate link, thinking that, but actually the technology is still not simple enough for a lot of people to use, and I think it's probably simpler to. I think the affiliate links are very useful because I need to know if someone's referred someone to me. I don't want to rely on the person's memory, and they may have got that link from a mediator's website. They may never have even spoken to them, and so for me, it's vital that I know where they came from because I want to send them back there when they're ready. So it's part of the arrangement. But the thought of actually having a proper contract in place, I hadn't really thought about that, and I think that's would be extremely helpful because also it just lays it out and encourages more action, shall we say, and also reciprocity, which of course is so important in these arrangements. We love, the more that it's not just about sending someone. If I'm sending you clients, and we actually haven't got a referral relationship because I said I just wanted to collaborate with you. So sometimes it's not necessarily to have that in place, but I know that if the more I help you, the more you're going to help my clients, and that makes me happy. And so for me, that's all that's needed. So there's different ways that those kind of relationships can work, but certainly when there's a financial aspect, I think to have a contract is a good idea.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like Susie just shared, Susie and I, at the moment anyway, don't have a financial agreement in place. But as she says, she wants to send me clients. If I get clients through doing this, that's brilliant. I would love it, and I would send her, something like I'm not going to let it sit because I don't want to really surprise. Because I'm sure it's going to happen. But what else could you do? It doesn't have to be financial as long as it is working for you. That's the key thing. And we are obviously subject to this is bringing more profit into your practice.
And it takes us back to what you were saying earlier, because that's allowing me to give added value to my clients, which I don't have to pay for. So, so that's, for me, that's the benefit, because I want to give that added value to my existing clients. It all works in a nice big circle.
It does. It really does. And if your clients are getting better skilled in managing their practices, are going to deliver a better service. So it all works out. Okay, cool. There's one other way that very often gets forgotten, that is a very easy, usually, way of increasing profit in your practice. And that is to look at your expenses, look at your outgoings. And I try and do this. I teach money mindset in one of my programs. So I do, it's kind of, that is my accountability, because every time I do the call where I say, right, everyone needs to do a big audit of their finances, they need, and this isn't just in business, but, like you'd automatically think, okay, finances, I need to spend less on marketing. You probably don't. Marketing should be your biggest outgoing usually. But what else are you paying for that you don't need to? Are you, just do a stock take. Like if you're carrying stock, I know your guys wouldn't, Susie, but if you're carrying stock, how much stock have you got? Could you get better supplier deals? What are you spending money on? Simple things like, are you turning off the lights to save electricity? Because you've got to pay your electricity. And have you got, do you, I don't know, are you spending like a fortune upgrading your phone every year and putting it on business expenses where you could do it every 2 years? Where is it? Because it's usually those little things that overall cumulative, I can't say that word, altogether. Thank you. I'm not doing very well with my words today. Altogether make that difference. So, I did this recently. I was telling my clients to stop signing up to every offer under the sun online, all those little deals like £27 here, £67 here, membership sites. And I was signed up to a membership site. I called myself out on it. I was signed up to a membership site that I haven't even been able to access. And it was the push I needed to sort it out. Yes, it's value for what I got if I was actually getting it. It is really good value, assuming the content's good, but I wasn't even getting it. And so often we just look at that and it comes in, we think, oh yeah, I must sort that out. And then next month comes around, we still haven't sorted it out. And over a few months, that adds up. So do a massive audit. A friend of mine did this with one of his clients recently, who is a gym owner. and he was with him in person. So he made him pick up the phone and was like coaching him while he was on the phone call. And he got new deals for all of his gym equipment, and in one day saved £20,000, which is just amazing, isn't it? So I know that's quite unique because it was equipment and suppliers and deals like that. And obviously you guys are very different, but look at where you're spending your money. Is all your marketing effective? I said before, your marketing should be the biggest cost, but actually if you're spending something on an ad every month in a paper or in some periodical that isn't ever giving you a return, then that's not effective marketing. Look at what's giving you a return. Look at what is getting your clients. Always find out, if you get a new client, always find out where they come from. It sounds a really simple thing that you assume everyone does, but you don't always.
No.
It's really easy to forget. You're so happy to have a new client, or if your receptionist is talking to them or whatever, they might just forget that vital question. So look at your expenses, look at your outgoings, do an audit, and be really, really good on it, and do it at home as well. So I know we're talking profit in your practice. There's probably a lot of other stuff that you could do to save money that's actually going to give you more money in your bank account every month when you get your wages or you get your dividends or whatever. So we often spend so much more money than we need to, and we forget that we're doing it. So give yourself an audit and let us know how much money you save. That would be brilliant.
Good advice.
Good. So I think, let me just check into Facebook, see if there's any other questions. We've been going for half an hour, which is good. I think that's pretty much it. I'm just checking my notes to make sure I haven't missed anything. But we would love to hear from you, and Susie and I. We would love to hear from you, hear your thoughts, tag us in if you have any questions. We'll be in the Facebook group checking anyway. We're going to share this in Susie's group, in the marketing support group. And we're here to help. And I really am excited to hear about light bulb moments, because I know Susie's had one. I've had one about the beauty retreat. I love that idea. There's so much opportunity out there and possibility. So go grab it.
And certainly if people want to test within the groups, want to test out ideas, ask questions, get feedback, that's what they're for. So the marketing support group is specifically set up, so it's a sort of safe space where professionals, mediators, financial, in fact, people who have nothing to do with the divorce industry as well in there, but they're business owners and they want space to have a bit of hand holding on kind of the sort of technical stuff and see great content like this, learn, and the cost to be in that group is £10 a month plus VAT. So if anyone's interested in that, there will be a link added. Absolutely. But invite people who are already within the group to share their ideas, to share their suggestions, and because within the group you may find those collaborations, those extra benefits that you can share with your own clients to upserve them.
Yes, I think that's a great point, Susie. And if you don't find them naturally, just put up a post, say I am looking for, and if that person isn't in the group, the likelihood is that you're spreading the net far wider and they're going to know someone. So this is how the whole referral thing works, and I think that's absolutely key for your guys, hence why we've started on referrals and why we've talked a lot about them and affiliates today. So yeah, awesome, brilliant.
So perhaps you say a little bit more about how you help people, and also the next webinar.
Yes, so we will have a webinar next month, and probably on rates, but we will we'll make sure. And actually, we want ideas from you. What is it that you guys are struggling with? And anything goes. Yes, this is, especially in Susie's group, it's for mediators, lawyers, accountants, all those professional services that are related to divorce. But actually, you can ask any question about marketing, about mindset, about whatever it is you need. Tell us what you need. So, and this is for my group as well, anyone else that sees this, tell us what you need, and then we can deliver that, because, we've got a fair idea of what you need, but it would be great to know that we are getting it right. And also on that note, I mentioned mindset just now. I'm doing a free mindset challenge next week, and it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in my group, and I'm happy to run it in your group as well, actually.
Yeah, yes, please, if you could. Thank you.
Yeah, we could absolutely do that. So the only reason you don't have to opt in, but if you do, it just means you get the emails and the reminders, and you'll get the replays as well. You can access it in the Facebook group, but sign up. It's going to be brilliant. 3 days to really just get your mind, body, and soul freed up and fired up. We are a third of the way through the year, which I find terrifying. Quarter doesn't, it's like, oh, quarter, I've got 3 quarters left. A third, I've only got 2/3 left. That's a bit more scary. So yeah, let's make sure that the next 2/3 are absolutely on point, awesome, that you haven't got any sabotage going on, that you're not held back, you're happy to take measured risks and really go out there and get those clients and grow your business and be fantastic and enjoy it, because if we don't enjoy it, life's pretty miserable. So I will pop the link in. I can do that here.
And pop it onto the Expert TV webinar as well, if you can, in the comments.
I think I've just.
Oh yes, brilliant. Thank you. I can see it.
Good. So I'll put it in here as well. And then when we share this in your group, Susie, I will pop it in there too. So fantastic. That's been wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Susie, for inviting me to your awesome group. And yeah, just fire any questions at us at any time.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone. Till the next time.
See you next month.